So you may be wondering, what exactly goes on when I eat food? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna break down for you exactly how digestion works. We'll talk about the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, the colon, and your butt, your rectum, to find out exactly what role it plays when it comes to your gut health. So if you're wanting to know how digestion works, this video is for you guys. Let's talk about poop. Howdy y'all, Dr. Islam here, aka your poop guru and gut microbiome expert. I'm a board certified gastroenterologist trained at the Mayo Clinic. Consider yourself a gastro for all your GI needs and consider subscribing to this channel. All right guys, are you ready to begin your journey? I feel like we should have a body 101 or a classroom 101. I want to be like a teacher and teach you guys everything you need to know. So let's start from the beginning. Did you know digestion actually begins whenever you see food? Yes, the physical seeing of food actually starts the process of digestion. So as soon as you see food, guess what happens? Your mouth salivates. It starts building up that saliva, and in that saliva actually begins the process of digestion. And it also triggers what is going on. Your body gets ready because it knows, hey, let's rev up to eat some food. So as soon as you have that morsel of bite in your mouth, that's when digestion begins. You actually have digestive enzymes in your mouth to help start down the breakdown of food right in the beginning. Now, the whole goal of your mouth, besides, to kiss people and to have digestion, is to break food down so it can go down into the esophagus. And sometimes disorders in the mouth can lead to a lot of problems. So things like aphthous ulcers. These are ulcers in the mouth from a condition called inflammatory bowel disease that can be very painful and make it difficult to swallow, and also make it difficult for you to chew your food correctly. And sometimes you can have dry mouth from a lot of different conditions, including Sjogren's disease. And when you have this problem, not only does it make it more difficult for you to eat, it actually make it more difficult for you to swallow because you don't have as much saliva that's going on there. Once we go down the mouth, we go into what's called the esophagus. This is a pipe right here that basically is a pipe to move food from your mouth into your stomach. Now, digestion does not occur in the esophagus, but the esophagus is important because of what happens, because it actually causes contraction of food going down from the mouth into the stomach. So you have what's called peristalsis that moves things down from the mouth in the esophagus into the stomach, and the big peristaltic organ is in the esophagus. So if you have a problem with the contraction of the esophagus, you're gonna have a condition called dysphagia, or trouble swallowing. This can be due to two main reasons. One is a mechanical obstruction and one is a motility problem. So when you have a mechanical obstruction, it is like what it says. There's an actual obstruction blocking what's going on. And so reasons you can have this include things like chronic acid reflux, a stricture or a narrowing, or something even concerning like a cancer of the esophagus. This is why, red alert, having dysphagia or trouble swallowing is never normal. So if you're having trouble swallowing, come see me, we can find out what's going on. The other reason why you can have trouble swallowing is a motility problem, or a problem with the contraction of the esophagus. Now, there are a lot of conditions that can cause this, whether it's scleroderma, in which you're replacing some of the muscles with collagen, or it's a condition called achalasia, in which you have an impaired movement of the esophagus, or maybe it's a spasm of the esophagus as well, and this can typically manifest as difficulty swallowing. Now, as we're going down the organs, now we're going into the stomach, and this is where digestion continues. You have digestive enzymes that are secreted into the stomach. You also have a lot of acid that's produced in the stomach to break food down. The whole role of the stomach is not digestion, but it's to break food down into its smallest components so it can get digested later on. Now, your stomach has a lot of barriers in them to protect it from the acid, but sometimes there are things that we can ingest or infections in the stomach that can break down that barrier to cause ulcers to occur. So commonly, things like alcohol, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications, things like Aleve, naproxen, Advil, Motrin, tobacco. This can cause irritation of the stomach, leading to a condition called gastritis, which in turn can lead to ulcers in the stomach because you're losing the protective barrier. In addition, you can have infections that grow in the stomach, the most common one being H. pylori. This is very common infection that can irritate the stomach to cause ulcers to occur as well, because you're losing the protective barrier in that stomach. And the stomach is actually where medications like PPIs or proton pump inhibitors actually work to suppress that acid, so you don't have a lot of reflux symptoms to occur. Now moving along, as we're going into the next organ, that is called the small intestine. The small intestine is probably the largest gut organ in your body. It can range from 3 feet to 7 feet. So if you're somebody, who's short like me, maybe mine's a little smaller versus somebody like Shaq, who maybe his is huge when it comes to his absorption. But the main role of the small intestine is to absorb nutrients. Your small intestine is lined with what are called villi, and these villi help to absorb nutrients as it's going all throughout the small intestine. And sometimes conditions in the small intestine, whether it's Crohn's disease or celiac disease, can impair the absorption of what's going on in your small intestine. Now, as you're going down the small intestine, there are 3 main parts: the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. This is important because in the duodenum is where your bile ducts, your pancreas, your liver, and your biliary system and gallbladder actually all connect. And so in those areas, that's where the juices are secreted to help out with digestion. You have juices in your pancreas that actually go into the small intestine to break down things in food. You have juices from your liver going into your bile ducts that go into your small intestine to break things down as well. So it's an intricate interplay of all these organs, and they mainly occur within the duodenum, which is the beginning part of your small intestine. And your liver also is an important organ to detoxify toxins. So things that we eat may not be the best thing for us, and sometimes we need a way to detox ourselves. And your body has a natural way of doing that, which is what is going on in your liver. And so if you have liver disease like cirrhosis or fatty liver disease or scarring of your liver, that can impair the detoxification process to make toxins build up, which can manifest in what's called encephalopathy or confusion. This is a very common problem that occur in my patients that have cirrhosis, which is end-stage liver disease. You have this buildup of toxins that are going on, and that buildup can make people confused, make them sleep poorly, can cause a lot of complications that can occur because your liver loses the capability to remove toxins. Now, your liver has a lot of other functions as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to talk about more about the functions of the liver, which I can do a separate video on that. This video is sponsored by Lubbock Gastroenterology. This is my GI clinic based in Lubbock, Texas. Our passion is to give our patients the best comprehensive care in this area. And we try to focus what we can to do things naturally, whether it's a functional medicine approach, a natural approach, or ways that we can tailor medicine to make you feel better. So if you want to see us at Lubbock Gastroenterology for all your GI needs, call this number or contact us through our website. We can schedule you today to get your GI track back on track. Now, as we're going down, now we're hitting what's called the colon, the large intestine. The exact same thing. Now, the colon is where the final parts of digestion and absorption occur. And the colon is where a lot of the water is absorbed and taken up into the body to produce what's left, which is called your poop or your caca. That's what it is. As your feces is going down the colon, more and more absorption occurs, more and more absorption of nutrients occur, and more poop gets formed. Now, issues can occur in the colon as well, including inflammatory conditions like ulcerative colitis, which can cause a lot of inflammation and bleeding to occur. You can also have polyps that grow in the colon as well. You can have narrowing or strictures that can occur in the colon, and you also have other conditions like IBS that can cause your colon to contract more or contract less, manifesting as either diarrhea or constipation. Lastly, at the very end, it's what's called your rectum. Yes, your rectum, we're gonna talk about this. Your rectum is a vault to hold stool. So your rectum can expand to hold more stool that's in there, and it actually holds the stool until you're ready to poop or to defecate. Now, your rectum is made to hold solid stool. What it's not made to do is to hold loose stool. So very commonly, if you're having diarrhea, you may have some accidents that occur. The main reason you have those accidents is because the rectum is not an organ that's actually used to help hold water, hold stool. But sometimes the rectum may not work correctly, whether it's a problem with the anatomy, whether it's because of surgeries, whether it's because the rectal wall may not be working correctly. There are a lot of conditions that this can manifest as, including pelvic floor dysfunction, constipation, fecal incontinence, or issues like that. We actually have specific testing to see if there's a problem with the rectum, which we can address and hopefully get rid of or get taken care of to alleviate your conditions that are there. Lastly, we can't talk about rectum issues without talking about your hemorrhoids, the last part of your GI tract. So hemorrhoids are cushions that nature made to make sure we don't have any problems down below. And for a lot of us, they don't cause any issues. But for some individuals, if you're having constipation, diarrhea, or rectal pain, those hemorrhoids can get bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it can cause symptoms like pain, bleeding, itching, or pressure. So if you're having rectum issues, you know who to see, your rectum doctor, in which we can get this taken care of for you. Oh man. That was exhausting. That was a long trip that we made. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot of value from this video. Here's my question of the day. Is there a particular organ you want me to go more in detail about? Let me know in the comments down below so I can address that and hopefully get that taken care of for you. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and newsletter where you can get great tips and tricks like you're learning in today's video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to talk about poop. Thanks, everyone.